beating his teammate in the final. What a final it was, and no doubt all of these fans would have watched this, and they'll be waiting to see both sides come out. It's an unusual idea, isn't it? But an interesting one. Players they'll know very well from the Saudi League and the PSG stars coming to visit the warm Middle East. It has been very, very cold in France, and I saw an interview with Marquinhos saying they were happy just to get some warm weather.
Yes, well, they had a training session that fans were able to pay to come in and view their teams. There was a Zimbabwean fan who was quoted as saying that this is the only time he would actually get to see all of these wonderful players. He was actually working during the World Cup. He lives in Qatar, so wasn't able to go to any of the games. So he felt like at least he's managed to see them in the flesh. And that's the thing about this, isn't it? Is that seeing these huge stars in the flesh, it's there's nothing quite like it.
Yeah, and great anticipation in Riyadh, a city that is now welcoming Cristiano Ronaldo. And obviously they'll be hoping to boost the Saudi League and boost their status. Saudi Arabia interested in hosting the 2030 World Cup along with Greece and Egypt. That's a long way down the line, but here we see 4 players in one. Ronaldo smiling. He hasn't actually played an official game for his new club yet, so we can't expect him to be 100% match fit, but no doubt there'll be something special from him as the Saudi officials get ready to welcome Cristiano Ronaldo taking on Lionel Messi. Smiles all around at the moment. Incidentally, the home team, we can call them that, Riyadh, will be coached by a great player in the past, Marcelo Gallardo. Argentine fans will remember him. He was a super player at River Plate and Monaco. He spent one season at PSG. Maybe it wasn't the best season for him. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But a coach that's very familiar with European football. And Cristiano Ronaldo will be playing for him today, who's wearing, of course, the number 7. He'll be captaining this team. And Kylian Mbappe, who has played since the World Cup, took a bit of a break after that World Cup. And Lionel Messi, kind of inverse. He took a break right after the World Cup and came back to play the last couple of games. Unfortunately, PSG for them coming off a disappointing defeat at Rennes. That was on Sunday. It was absolutely pouring down in Brittany, in the west of France, as it often does in that part of the world. And such is the life of a modern footballer, playing against Rennes under the driving rain last weekend. Here they are in the desert. Although it's quite nice conditions today. And then next week, they're going to play at a club called Pays de Cassel. Now, if you haven't heard of Pays de Cassel, you can forgive yourself because they're a village team pretty much, playing in the 6th tier of French football. They'll play that match at Lens. That's a French Cup match. So, Angus, what a strange week in a way for PSG. Topping and tailing with Rennes and Pays de Cassel, with a trip to Saudi Arabia in between.
Yes, well, I mean, Paris Saint-Germain have managed to get that Coupe de France match deferred until Monday to give themselves time to get back from this, and in large part because, well, the Saudis obviously wanted to see the first team. They wanted to see the team that will likely take on Bayern Munich in not so many weeks' time now in the knockout stages of the Champions League. Neymar, very much one of those, started off the season absolutely on fire. Has just lost a little bit of form perhaps towards the end of the season, but then Paris Saint-Germain have lost their last couple of games as well, and I would imagine that they'll be chomping at the bit to get back into competitive action when the really important part of the season starts up. Let's not forget that Paris Saint-Germain, despite those 2 defeats, are still top of the table, and they had a tremendous start to the season, and it's only because of Lens's record ever start in the Championship that they're actually anywhere near them at the moment. But yeah, I think that this will be a nice way to stretch out their legs. They've relaxed a bit, and they've enjoyed the finer points, and then it'll be back home and get on with the winter season in France.
Indeed, Kylian Mbappe, the top scorer in Ligue 1. I'll talk a little bit about the week that PSG have had then. They did train on Tuesday at the Camp de Logis, then they flew to Qatar overnight. They had a training session in Qatar on Wednesday, including this man, Sergio Ramos. That was at the Khalifa Stadium. And then they flew. It's a much shorter journey, obviously, from Qatar to Riyadh. Good weather here. And training session and ready to play today. And they will fly back to France immediately after this match. the players just putting themselves through the paces. It's going to be fascinating to see how Cristiano Ronaldo actually does, because he hasn't played since that World Cup match. He couldn't actually play because he's still banned after an altercation with a fan in England, and the English FA ban did actually carry forward. So unfortunately for him, he hasn't been able to play, but he will in a few days make his debut. Neymar, another very, very popular player around these parts in the Middle East, where often fans, they do get attached to particular players, and Neymar hugely popular in Qatar and in the Middle East, and he's come back from that World Cup disappointment, the defeat against Croatia. There's Kylian Mbappe, who came on as a sub against Rennes. Pretty difficult conditions, driving rain, wind in the west of France. Very different conditions here. There are a couple of players who can't make it. Marco Verratti, who's just signed a new contract, incidentally, still has that injury. It's a quad problem. Nordi Mukiele picked up an injury against Rennes. He couldn't make the trip. Nuno Mendes still recovering from a thigh muscle injury. And Presnel Kimpembe not able to make the trip either. He's got a long-term injury as well. We wish him a speedy recovery. Renato Sanchez is back. He did play against Rennes for this match. Pretty good conditions, about 12 degrees in the Saudi capital. Cristiano Ronaldo will be getting used to these new conditions in his new home. What an amazing career he's had, and we'll be comparing and looking at his career and Messi over the years. Let's start this program by giving you some numbers. In the all-time club ranks, Messi, and it's quite hard to even comprehend these figures, 696 goals. Ronaldo, 701 goals. Champions League alone, 129 goals for Messi, 140 for Ronaldo. All-time list in international football, 98 goals for Messi, 118 for Ronaldo, 12 Ballon d'Ors. It really is quite remarkable. Angus, do you think, are we, in the near term, are we ever going to see players who can come up with these kind of figures? I mean, it's amazing to think that Messi, 696 goals for his club, 98 for his country. Ronaldo, 701 for his club, 118 for Portugal. You really do blink when you see those figures. You're talking about literally more than 1,300 goals in their club careers, and this is in an age of tactics and good defences and clubs studying their opponents with great video analysis and so on. It's staggering for those two players to score so many goals.
Well, it's very interesting, because you can also compare them with what came before. Is that people say that Ronaldo, Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi are the greatest ever, but of course they play in an era where the best players, the strikers, the forwards, are protected a lot more than the strikers of years gone by. I mean, we lost Pelé very recently, whom Neymar equaled in terms of World Cup goals in the last World Cup just gone by, even though they ended up going out against Morocco in the process. And you've got the likes of Diego Maradona. I mean, those two players had the lumps kicked out of them in their careers, whereas the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi, they came into an era where it was a lot more protected, thanks to Marco van Basten primarily. But then you also have this idea of the fact that the idea of studying opposition, the use of data analytics, was very much in its infancy when these two players came in the beginning, and so now we've reached the maturity of that. So whether or not we will see those kinds of figures in the future is very much up for debate. I certainly believe that we will see players as great as them in the future. I think that will always happen. I mean, the mere fact that you see somebody like Kylian Mbappe coming through shows you that there will always be the prodigies that come through. Kylian Mbappe is an interesting one for me, actually, because a lot of them you get compared with the greatest players of ever, maybe France, Platini and Zidane, but I think the more pertinent analysis for him is more, I see the old Ronaldo in him a lot more. That speed off the thought, that first touch, that ability to be able to just weave past players, and also an element of Thierry Henry as well that I see in him as well. Kylian Mbappe, I think, will prove to be one of the greatest players ever because of his first touch, his ability to run, as long as he's not injured. And this is also why we have to thank Marco van Basten as well, because players like him are less likely to get injured because they're more protected. And he is such a nightmare, Andreas, for defences, and particularly for goalkeepers, because I was watching a compilation of all of his Champions League goals, and you literally don't know where he's going to put the ball. He will go everywhere on the goal. The goalkeeper can protect his far post. He'll go to the near post. You protect the near post. He'll go to the far post, and then he'll strike it straight over the top of the goalkeeper at pace. He can head the ball as well. He can also create. We saw that particularly last season. Not so many this time for him, but the goals are coming back. So, yeah, to answer your question is, I think that we will definitely see players as great as Messi and Neymar in the future. Whether or not they can come up with as many goals, bearing in mind how much is put into now stopping these players, is another matter.
Indeed, always difficult to compare generations, but what we can say is we have 4 superstars on the pitch today, and plenty of other good players. You know, we'll talk about other players from PSG and indeed Al Hilal and Al Nassr once the match starts. These are the PSG players warming up, getting some shooting practice in. It's going to be interesting to see who lines up. We'll bring you that lineup just as soon as we possibly can. Lionel Messi will definitely take some part in this, and it's interesting what Angus was saying as Kylian Mbappe just putting one wide for a change. He's already got 12 World Cup goals at 23 years old, so he's certainly got a couple of World Cups left in him. And then he certainly raises his game for the World Cup. What a final that was. And everyone thought that France were out. Produced some brilliant, a hat-trick, and losing. There's not many players. In fact, he's the only one who can say he scored a World Cup hat-trick, World Cup final hat-trick, and lost. There's Cristiano Ronaldo. What about his future? Portugal have a new coach, you know, and Roberto Martinez, who did visit Saudi Arabia recently, discussed the future of Ronaldo. Portugal playing qualifications for the next Euros against Liechtenstein and Luxembourg in March. No disrespect to those two countries, but they're two perhaps easier games, and it'll be really interesting to see whether Ronaldo will perhaps bow out in those two games, or will it be time for Portugal and Martinez, their Spanish coach, to turn the page. And there is a great generation of young Portuguese players coming through, including Vitinha, who we're hoping to see today, fabulous player at PSG. This man on your screen also met Carlo Ancelotti, who was in Saudi Arabia, in Riyadh, for the Super Cup with Real Madrid, and Rafael Leao, who was here for the Italian Super Cup. So it's actually become quite a base for big games, Riyadh, of late. The Italian Super Cup and the Spanish Super Cup, both held here recently. Wins for Inter and Barcelona. Talking of Barcelona, well, this man faced Barcelona many times when he was at Real Madrid. Those Clásicos over the years, we saw so many of them. It's the 36th time that this man, Messi, has faced Ronaldo. 10 wins for Messi. 16 wins for Messi, 10 for Ronaldo. They first played each other all the way back in April 2008. First leg of a Champions League semi-final. Remember that one? Ronaldo missed a penalty. Man United winning that 1-0, going on to lift the Champions League. The next year was a real classic, a final between Messi and Ronaldo, when Messi, we don't often say this, a wonderful header when he leapt between Vidic and Rio Ferdinand. Remember that one, Angus? In a 2-0 win for Barcelona in 2009. Seems a long time ago. It was a long time ago. And so many Clásicos. Remember that 5-0 win for Barcelona in 2010. 2011, they met 4 times in 3 weeks. And after 5 matches without beating Messi, this man Ronaldo finally got a win. That was in the Spanish Cup final. And Ronaldo leaving Spain in 2018 and Messi in 2021. I mean, it was that fantastic rivalry, wasn't it, in Spain, and they played each other so often, perhaps in an age when the Liga was the biggest one in the world, and playing for 2 super clubs. They're still 2 big clubs, but when Ronaldo and Messi were in their pomp playing for Real Madrid and Barcelona, Angus, they really were some matches, weren't they? between Barcelona and Real Madrid back in the day, and some super clashes, and it's great to see them back facing each other in rather different circumstances today.
Nice there from Ronaldo, Jorge Campos, and Christophe Galtier just exchanging pleasantries there just before this game. It's an interesting move for Ronaldo, and certainly going to raise the profile of Saudi Arabian football, and this match against Paris Saint-Germain will in no small part do that as well.
There's Kylian Mbappe and Lionel Messi warming up as the players just go back to the dressing room for the final tactical instructions from Messrs Galtier and Gallardo. Our referee today, incidentally, is from Qatar, Abdul Rahman Al Jassim. And the stadium just filling up, the 68,000 stadium in the Saudi capital of Riyadh. You're watching pictures from the King Fahd Stadium in the Saudi capital of Riyadh. We're just a few minutes away from the Riyadh team, the Riyadh season team, up against Paris Saint-Germain in this high-profile exhibition match, where we're waiting for Cristiano Ronaldo to play for the first time for not exactly his new club, but in his new country, up against PSG. And these are four of the big players. They're no doubt the big stars here. Ronaldo, Messi, Mbappe and Neymar all on the pitch for the same time. Lots of other good players will be on view tonight, but these certainly the ones getting all the headlines.
اليوم اللي بيشجع باريس بصرة، اللي بيشجع فريقنا يسمع العالم صوته. ما نبي اللي يصفق كذا، أبي تولعون الملعب، خل بعض الناس يمكن يتحمسون، انتم فاهميني. نبي تشجيع صح والرابطة 140 دولة بتشوفوا، انتم في لحظة تاريخية الآن. شكرا.
King Fahd Stadium filling up nicely ahead of the Riyadh team's match against Paris Saint-Germain. We're about 10 minutes away from kickoff. These fans clearly desperate to see some of the world stars of football in what's called the Pearl of Stadiums in the Saudi capital. You may have seen earlier there was a huge umbrella that keeps the sun off seats. So today it doesn't really need to be used. It's about 11-12 degrees. Not always hot in this part of the world. It is, of course, the middle of winter in this part of the world. A match that was due to be played a year ago, but because of COVID, it had to be delayed. So these fans have had a long wait to see PSG come to town. But we are ready. And in about 8 or 9 minutes, after the pre-match formalities, we're going to get off with Riyadh against PSG. The Riyadh season team is made up of players from Al Nassr and Al Hilal up against Paris Saint-Germain. The Riyadh season team will come on to the pitch in a few minutes. Fans, most of whom are probably big fans of either Al Nassr or Al Hilal, will put their rivalry to one side, no doubt, and hoping their team will play and beat Paris Saint-Germain, who brought a very strong team here. Apart from one or two injured players we were talking about, especially Marco Verratti, we wish him a speedy recovery. And Nordi Mukiele not here, but apart from that, pretty much a full strength team from the players available. An air of anticipation in the Saudi capital.
And you can't blame them, can you? I mean, after the World Cup they had, beating Argentina in the first game, and okay, it didn't quite go the way they wanted to afterwards, but it was no doubt that was the greatest moment in Saudi Arabia in a single match. Wasn't quite the run to the last 16 that they enjoyed in 1994, but nevertheless, it was still one of those great moments, and two of the best goals as well that we saw at the World Cup as well came in that match, and we'll see the likes of quite a number of those players from those two sides, the likes of Abdullah Al-Amri and Abdullah Madou in the side, Abdullah Otaif, and of course the number one man himself, Salam Al-Dassari of Al Hilal, who scored that winning goal against Lionel Messi. It was interesting, I was going to say earlier to you, both sides that reached the final this time, both lost during the tournament. I can't remember when that actually happened, where both of the finalists both lost.
Yeah, I remember Spain in 2010 losing, but you're right, for both to lose and get to the final, quite something. And you're absolutely right to talk about Salam Al-Dawsari, who scored a fabulous goal and a mythical goal in the history of Saudi football. And you saw the reaction on social media to that goal. It really was quite something. And I'm sure he'll play some part today. The left winger, Salam Al-Dawsari, who plays for Al Hilal, who actually over the years have been the more successful of the two. Al Hilal, 18-time champions, and they've won the King Cup 9 times as well. 4 times Asian Champions League winners. They're big hitters in Asian football. Al Nassr never won the big one. They did get to the final once.
And they didn't reach the Asian Champions League this season either. They had a disappointing season before that. We shouldn't forget, though, Salah Al-Sheikhi, who I don't think is in the squad tonight, but he was the man who scored that equalising goal, so Messi's penalty in that game. That was also a pretty quality goal as well. It just got overshadowed because it didn't turn out to be the most important goal, if you like, because of the winner that came after that from Al-Dassari.
That's right, Saudi getting off to a winning start, but then...
And welcome to an all new video.
हम करने वाले एक्सप्लोर इसी होचिंग मिन सिटी को, लेकिन टेक्नोलॉजी की मदद से.
This country has always been on my list and I can't wait to explore it with you guys.
चलिए शुरू करते हैं.
About Hakimi, because it was very much an Arab World Cup as well. The Arab world very proud to host the World Cup for the first time. And Achraf Hakimi is a hugely popular player, not just in Morocco, but across North Africa and Middle East. And what a player as well. He's one of those all-action modern right-backs. He's very strong physically, defensively, very solid, but a super attacking right-back as well. Let's hope we see a bit of Achraf Hakimi today. I'm sure these fans will be really interested in seeing the Moroccan in action.
And he's a great humanitarian off
Yes.
the pitch as well. He's very much has a social conscience. He hasn't forgotten where he came from, and I think maybe that's also why he's such great friends with somebody like Kylian Mbappe, because they share this. They both come from relatively humble backgrounds, but have really made good. They've worked hard. Achraf Hakimi is always paying tribute to his parents about what they gave up so that he could play football, and he's very, very conscious of that. He's a real role model.
Yeah, it certainly is. And where he comes from, it actually comes from Madrid. His first language is Spanish, so he can get on with a lot of the PSG players, and a real popular player in this part of the world. And of course, they're both similar generation as well. Hakimi and Mbappe, similar ages, and they'll be playing together, no doubt against each other as well at international level over the years. Achraf Hakimi, 24 years old, just as Kylian Mbappe is.
So we're waiting for the teams to come out onto the pitch. Seems to be a little bit of a delay, I think. We're due to kick off at 6. It's at French time, that is. And we're only a couple of minutes before that. Someone's just building up the anticipation.
Yeah, it's 8 o'clock local time in Riyadh. Beyond imagination, as you can see. Let's hope there's some imaginative stuff.
Yeah, let's hope we don't have to rely completely on imagination.
Let's talk about some team news then, Angus. Up front, well, Messi, Neymar and Mbappe looks like they will start, so these fans going to get what they want. It looks like Keylor Navas will start in goal. He hasn't played too much this season, only in cup competition. Looks like we've got a back four of Bernat, Ramos, Marquinhos and Hakimi, so it's pretty much a first choice back four. Soler, Ruiz, the two newish signings, along with Renato Sanchez, another new signing in midfield. Let's hand over to the MC.
نشاهد في الرياض هنا على مسرح الأحداث الكبيرة استاد الملك فهد الدولي الممتلئ بالمشجعين اليوم في الرياض التي تعيش وترة رائعة جدا وأصبحت وجهة مفضلة لأهم الأحداث الرياضية. نحن وإياكم في هذه الصورة مع معالي المستشار تركي آل الشيخ، مع رئيس أيضا نادي باريس سان جيرمان ناصر الخليفي، الحاضرين في هذه المباراة الكبيرة بطبيعة الحال من أجل أن نشاهد وإياكم حدثا فريدا للغاية ويوما كبيرا للغاية. نجوم النصر والهلال أمام نجوم باريس سان جيرمان في هذه الأمسية الكروية الكبيرة التي نأمل أن تشهد حدثا أو مباراة ممتعة وبالتأكيد كل الأنظار على أبرز.
Well, there's Cristiano Ronaldo saying hello to some friends and foes alike, but it's all very friendly, especially Sergio Ramos. How many times did those two line up for Real Madrid? And it's good to see Ronaldo back. Looks happy, looks eager to go as we get ready for the Riyadh season team against Paris Saint-Germain in Riyadh.
بين كريستيانو رونالدو الذي يقود فريق نجوم النصر والهلال أمام ليونيل ميسي الذي يقود هجوم باريس سان جيرمان. كل شيء أصبح جاهزا لأن نستمتع وإياكم بليلة كروية أشبه ما تكون بالحلم مع نجوم النصر والهلال ضد نجوم PSG في هذه الأمسية الكبيرة على كأس موسم الرياض في هذه الليلة الاحتفائية العالمية المثيرة والوجهة الجديدة لكرة القدم وأيضا للعديد من الأنشطة الترفيهية سياحية ثقافية رياضية على أرض الرياض في موسم الرياض. وعلى كأس موسم الرياض يأتي هنا طاقم تحكيم قطري لإدارة المباراة الكبيرة بين نجوم النصر والهلال أمام PSG في قلب العاصمة الرياض هنا في استاد الملك فهد الدولي في حدث فريد من نوعه وفي ليلة أشبه ما تكون بالحلم ليلة عالمية بقيادة.
We're ready to go at the King Fahd Stadium as Cristiano Ronaldo leads the Riyadh season team up against Paris Saint-Germain. Marquinhos, of course, the captain for PSG tonight, but all eyes on this man as well, Lionel Messi, who is facing his old rival for the 36th and perhaps the last time. Neymar, also a big attraction in this part of the world, as is, of course, Kylian Mbappe. 12 World Cup goals he scored in his career, and reputation getting bigger and bigger by the year. This is the Saudi capital, with the stadium in lights. We're seeing Nassr El Halafi, the PSG president, alongside His Excellency Turki Al Sheikh, who is the chairman of the General Authority of Entertainment in Saudi Arabia. And there is Cristiano Ronaldo, ready to lead his teammates for what should be an entertaining night in Saudi Arabia. Nassr Al-Khelaifi, the Qatari, of course, who's run PSG for more than a decade, was in his home country yesterday. Cristiano Ronaldo, at 37 years old, a new chapter in his career. To the pre-match formalities. Nassr Al-Khelaifi will know these players very well indeed, no need for introductions.
neymar, Lionel Messi, Ashraf Hakimi, Fabian Ruiz, Bernat, Sanchez, Soler, وكذلك أيضا سيرخيو راموس، نافاس، ماركينوس ضد نجوم النصر والهلال في ليلة الحلم على كأس موسم الرياض. ليلة للتاريخ يشهدها ملعب تاريخي أمام جماهير تحضر بكثافة. لا مكان لموطئ قدم هنا في استاد الملك فهد الدولي، وبطبيعة الحال أجواء كبيرة للغاية تسبق انطلاقة هذه المباراة. قائد نجوم النصر والهلال اليوم كريستيانو رونالدو، الحارس المتألق في المونديال محمد العويس، سعود عبد الحميد، سلطان الغنام، موسى ماريغا، جانج يونسو، لويس جوستافو، مارتين سبيتي، عبد الله الخيبري، سالم الدوسري، وعلي البيهي. قائمة نجوم النصر والهلال في هذه المباراة. محظوظ بصراحة من جاء إلى ملعب الملك فهد الدولي اليوم ليشاهد هذه الليلة الكبيرة للغاية، وهذا الحدث العالمي البارز الذي ينقل في العديد من الأماكن.
Well, whatever the language, the players are recognisable, and it's fantastic to hear the MC introduce those players, and a great reception for all of the 22 starters, and I think we'll have lots of substitutes as well, so we will see the full array of PSG players and those who represent the Riyadh team as well.
مرة أخرى سيداتي وسادتي، تحية لكل من يتابعنا في الوطن العربي الكبير عبر كل القنوات التي تشاركنا.
Well, the party is starting in Riyadh. Nassr Al-Khelaifi, a familiar figure, of course, to all PSG fans, has met the home team, the Riyadh team, and his PSG team as well, as we get ready to start this match. An exhibition game. It's a game that should have been played a year ago. And we're ready to go now. Sergio Ramos and Cristiano Ronaldo still on very good terms, as are all of the team. I think this match will be played in a really good spirit. Looking forward to that, as PSG team here getting some warmer weather. It's not that warm here, actually. It's 12 degrees, but it's much warmer than back home before they fly back to Paris after this match. The match going to be played in front of pretty much a full house, as you can see. It's about 66,000 fans at the King Al Fahd Stadium. Wonderful arena. Let's look at the teams then, starting with PSG. It's pretty much the first choice team. Keylor Navas hasn't seen too much action today, but he will start between the sticks. And up front, it's the magic three of Mbappe, Neymar and Messi. That's how PSG line up today. Our referee is from Qatar, Abdul Rahman Al Jassim. He's 35 years old, World Cup referee. He actually ref 2 games in Qatar, USA against Wales and Croatia against Morocco. Well, what about the home team, the Riyadh team, led of course by Cristiano Ronaldo, the number 7. It's made up of players from both teams, Al Hilal, Al Nassr. Look out for Anderson Talisca, Brazilian star, who will be hoping to link up with Ronaldo and score a goal or two tonight. Ronaldo against Messi for the first time since December 2020 when they faced each other at the Nou Camp in Barcelona. The stage is different, but two great players, and there's plenty of others, including this man Neymar, Mbappe on the pitch as well, as PSG bring their stars to Riyadh. It's the Riyadh season team against Paris Saint-Germain. We are underway with PSG kicking from left to right in the dark strip. 1,397 club goals, 216 international goals, 12 Ballon d'Ors. That's the combined record of Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo as they face off today at the King Fahd Stadium, with PSG kicking from left to right with pretty much a first choice team of those available, not injured. So it'll be fascinating to see how they get on up against the combined team of Al Hilal, Al Nassr. It's a first touch for Juan Bernat to his Spanish countryman Ramos, and it looks like the Riyadh team will be trying to win the ball high up the pitch. Messi, first touch for the Argentine World Cup winner. Plenty of fans he has in this part of the world as well. Kylian Mbappe, first touch for the Frenchman. Looks like he'll be playing on the left with Neymar a little bit more central. 4-3-3. PSG have lined up with 3 at the back quite often of late, with Danilo as the third centre-back, but Danilo's on the bench, so it looks like we'll have a more orthodox 4-3-3 with Sanchez, Ruiz and Soler in the middle of the park. First attacking intent then for Neymar. Messi, a couple of players around him, including Gustavo. He's a very familiar player, vastly experienced player, played against PSG while at Marseille. Also played at Hoffenheim and Bayern Munich. He's one of the big names in this Riyadh side. Seeing the first touch there from Messi. And Ramos putting out the fire early on. 2 minutes to play, plenty of attacking intent.
Just a couple of players really who played for Saudi Arabia in the World Cup. You've got Sultan Al Ghanam, the right back, who's playing. Ali Al Balahi as well. He's playing as well at centre of defence. And no Salam Al Dasari, the man who scored the winner against Argentina yep. in that game. He's on the bench, it seems, at the moment to start with.
The first chance to be created for Riyadh. Cut out by Renato Sanchez doing his job. Neymar. Little run from Lionel Messi. Is this going to be the first chance? And it's going to be the first goal within 3 minutes. The two stars linking up as they have over the years. It was a clever through ball from Neymar, and Lionel Messi did the rest. The celebrations start early, especially for those supporting PSG. Disappointment for Ronaldo and Riyadh. Alois was beaten. And, well, a typical link-up between those two stars, and it's 1-0.
Well, we can expect a few goals coming up today, and, well, you can see one of the reasons why Neymar, Mbappe and Messi have been so devastating in Liga and the Champions League this season. That's a classic ball. You can see Neymar's been doing that all through the season so far. And Lionel Messi, who struggled for goals last season, has been catching up this time around. He's capped on his creative elements as well, and that's a great finish. And he beats again the player he beat with a penalty against Saudi Arabia in their opening game of the World Cup.
8 goals in the league already, and there's another one in this high-profile exhibition game. It hasn't taken them long. And Riyadh are warned. I think PSG are here to really put on a show and score a few goals. It's going to be tough for Riyadh because these are players from two different sides, of course. So that's a link up between the players, and just the knowledge about strengths and weaknesses will be there. But they've never really played it together. So it's going to be tough for the Riyadh season team. Musa Malayga, a powerful Mali player, looking to open things up for Martinez. And again, cut out. Hakimi, Messi suddenly popping up on this side, getting plenty of cheers. And those brilliant finishes, just seems to know where the goal and the keeper are instinctively. Soler, good period this for PSG. Oh yeah, just hanging on, they don't want to concede another goal here. Messi couldn't quite get to that pass from Neymar. And Riyad Angus are holding on a bit here.
Yeah, that was a bit of a collector's item there, with Neymar and Lionel Messi not on the same wavelength for once.
Here is Neymar. Martinez, the Argentine, playing under Gallardo today, Marcelo Gallardo, who had 1 year at PSG. PSG finished 16th that season. That was a long time ago. Had rather more successful spells at Monaco and River Plate. Ronaldo, his first touch for his new club. Getting the cross in, just about. Salam Al-Dawsari, the player we were talking about, who scored that historic goal, you can say that, for Saudi Arabia in the World Cup. Ronaldo with his first chance, and it's held by Navas. Well, not wasting any time there. Head down. Two-footed player, very much Ronaldo, and not far there.
Well, he had plenty of speed to burn there. One of the criticisms of Ronaldo in recent years is he's not quite as quickly off a standing start as he used to, but that was a big gaping hole for him to run into.
Riyadh come again. Gustavo with the shot from distance. Doesn't know how to shoot from distance, the Brazilian. That was high and wide.
One of the few players on the pitch today who's very, very aware and familiar with playing against Paris Saint-Germain in his days with Olympique de Marseille.
Yeah, a very top-level player, wasn't he? He played at Bayern Munich, champion there of Germany, and Hoffenheim. It's going to be perhaps a player that Ronaldo can lean on, get some information about the Saudi League. Obviously, no language problems between those two, Brazilian and Portuguese. Good start, Angus, to this match.
Yeah, it's entertaining and has an exhibition game. There is a trophy to be won at the end of this, so there is something to play for. It's not just a friendly.
7 minutes played. Lionel Messi, the difference so far with a classic goal, just guiding it past the keeper, making it look easy. It wasn't, as Oasis goes long. Towering header from Marquinhos. Ruiz and Soler linking up. Mbappe. Nice pitch at Riyadh. No problems there. Soler. Mbappe onside. Riyadh just about clear their lines through Abdullah Al-Kabari.
Well, you can see that this is the freedom that the three up front have. They interchange. Mbappe this time coming down the right-hand side, trying to get that ball into the middle where Lionel Messi and Neymar were arriving.
PSG take the corner quickly. Coming off a defeat against Rennes in Liga. They'll be heading back to France to play a cup match on Monday against the Minnows. Pays de Cassel, play 6th division football in the amateur leagues. For the moment, a match in Saudi Arabia. Mbappe. Messi. And for the moment, some of those Riyadh players chasing shadows. Mbappe. Neymar. Little triangles. Messi again. Neymar. Hakimi. Neymar gets it back. Where did Neymar come from? Suddenly seems to make 10 metres in no time at all. Ramos. This is good stuff from Paris Saint-Germain.
It was nice play from Soler as well. He saw the arrival of Neymar and decided to play the dummy instead of taking the ball on himself. only played once in the World Cup, did Soler, was a little bit unlucky. He's particularly as Luis Enrique is actually a really big fan of his as well, the national coach of Spain.
Riyadh playing with the Marega and Ronaldo up front, and Ramos just getting ahead there.
Yeah, Ramos is no longer undefeated in a Paris Saint-Germain shirt. He went so long without losing, created a record for Paris Saint-Germain for a start without losing a single game. Having a great season.
Mbappe coming a bit more central, just crowded out that time. Abdullah Al-Kabari again. Riyadh looking to play their football as well. Salma Al-Dassari. Miscommunication there with Ronaldo, which we can forgive them for that. Haven't really played together, so it's going to be tricky for this Riyadh season team.
Yeah, not only is it the first time, well, it's the only time he'll be playing with him because he plays for Al Hilal, but you're coming up against a side that are so used to playing with each other, and players here who are more used to playing against each other with regards to the Riyadh selection team. So this is not easy for the Saudi Arabian hosts.
Messi inside of the boots. Out comes Al-Owais. Suddenly Messi kills the ball in an instant.
Yeah, Mohamed Al-Owais was goalkeeper. He's not number one at Al Hilal, even though he is the number one at the Saudi Arabian national level, and he was needed to be in good form as well. Unfortunately, his heroics against Poland and Mexico couldn't ultimately see them through to the last 16 in what was a fantastic end to that group, where any permutation was on the cards.
Some brilliant trickery here from Cristiano Ronaldo.
You got the free kick as well.
It is the first interestingly placed free kick for Riyadh, who are playing with Ronaldo and Moussa Malega up front, who's actually born in Paris. The French player, who's also a Malian international. Gustavo and Messi. It's actually Yong, the Korean. It's good work from Sergio Ramos. Take something to get it off him, and the Korean did exactly that. Yong Soo-yang. Martinez. Gustavo. Ronaldo. Gustavo! Good stop from Navas. And PSG had to deal with a decent effort there. The first shot from Gustavo on target. He can hit a ball, can't he, Angus?
He certainly can, and well, Navas has only played once in all competitions this season, so well, unlike a lot of the other players, he actually hasn't seen an awful lot of action in this campaign, and so this game actually is quite useful for him as well. Last season he played just as many games as Donnarumma, but Donnarumma has been made the number one for the current campaign. Navas, though, with Costa Rica in the World Cup, and well, he's still got it, and Paris Saint-Germain really blessed with two world-class keepers.
Certainly are. The decision made that Donnarumma will play Champions League and all the league games so far, but what a backup to have. Gustavo. Ronaldo driving through centrally, getting a tackle from his old pal Ramos, and it was a legal one.
Yes, with whom they won so many Champions Leagues together and Liga titles.
Yeah.
In another life.
Mbappe's through. So Al-Owais will have to be very aware, because there's probably no one quicker in world football at that level than Kylian Mbappe. Who's our referee today? Abdul Rahman Al-Jassim.
Well, it just shows you he's just a quality defender, isn't he? And that's a wonderful shot set up by Ronaldo.
Dealt with by a Korean Jew. Really open start to this match. It's really looks like the players want to put on a good exhibition. They're doing exactly that. Martinez going to the turf, the Argentine.
Yeah, ex-Argentine international. The last of his 4 appearances were against Venezuela back in 2019 when Messi was on the pitch, and was Leandro Paredes as well, who is no longer at Paris Saint-Germain at the moment. Another Argentine ex-Paris Saint-Germain player, Icardi, actually was in his debut in international football.
Yeah, plenty of South American links running through both of these two teams, of course. There's a big Brazilian and Argentine presence in the Saudi League, which has started. It's about halfway through. We'll talk about that, but it's been an all-action start. We haven't been able to take our eyes off this match, and that's what we want, as Abdelhamid looks to launch another attack. Does exactly that. Was he pulled back by Sanchez?
That was very nice from the Saudi Arabian host, and Ronaldo Sanchez realised he was going to get skinned and just stretched out an arm there on Moussa Marega, the former Porto man, Mali international.
It was Abdelhamid actually with that last touch, and it's going to be a free kick, nicely placed as well. It's going to be interesting to see Ronaldo's position in free kicks. He's a super header of a ball, of course. It's Gonzalo Martinez. Maybe he's the one who'll be taking it.
Likes to take the odd free kick as well, doesn't he, when it's direct?
There's obviously no language problem there. Speaks perfect Spanish as Ronaldo. The language of football, but that's going to drift behind. So, well, what a first 15 minutes we've had, Angus.
Yeah, it's, well, most of the quality so far has come from Paris Saint-Germain, as you would expect. I mean, this is a side that regularly makes it through to the latter stages of the Champions League. They've reached the final and the semi-finals in 2 of the last 3 years as well. And but they don't look completely overawed. I mean, they must feel a little bit the same against Paris Saint-Germain as Saudi Arabia themselves felt against Argentina at the World Cup.
Comes Hakimi again. First time across, nicely done. Neymar, still Neymar, great save from Al Oais.
What a ball by Hakimi. And Neymar, I think, will be a little upset he didn't do more.
Danger not over for Riyadh. It comes back to Neymar. Neymar, oh, he was just dribbling through 2 or 3 of them. Maybe tried to do a little bit too much, but really good work from Al Oais in that home goal.
Well, Cristiano Ronaldo certainly looks up for it tonight, doesn't he? New start for him. 37 years old now, we shouldn't forget that. I mean, not many outfield players are still going at this level at 37.
Famously looks after his body. A superb athlete is Cristiano Ronaldo. Ramos and Marquinhos, well, not bad athletes either, are they? When Bernat taken off his boot by Martinez.
Interesting that Paris Saint-Germain only playing with 2 at the back tonight. They got used to playing with 3 at the back, but Christophe Galtier has been very much trying to bring in a new system. They've already got 2. He wants a 3rd one as well, so that on the likes of nights against Bayern Munich and other teams, he can adapt the tactics.
Yeah, it's 4 at the back, but as you're saying, the fullbacks are pushing right forward, so often it's just Ramos and Marquinhos holding fort at the back.
And that's why it's also so important that the midfielders as well help out in that way. Everything, of course, built around the fact that you want to have Neymar, Messi and Mbappe on the pitch together up front.
Yep, strike force, strikes fear to any defence in the world. 18 minutes in, Juan Bernat looking for a second, but Martinez does well, the Argentine, and the back flick. Well, the host putting on a show as well, but it falls to Neymar. Ruiz, Neymar. Soler with the diagonal run, but it comes to Mbappe. With a give and go, Kylian Mbappe in with a chance all the way across. Neymar couldn't quite get a toe to it.
Well, another chance for Neymar that just gets slightly beyond him. Mbappe back on the left-hand side here, and a lovely ball through to him by Ruiz, I think it was. Classic play from the midfielder, doing the sort of thing that they brought him in for to do. Bernat had the ball as to minutes. I don't think I can remember that this long a time where Juan Bernat has not been injured. It's fantastic to see him so fit and for so long at the moment.
Yeah, he's had some terrible injury luck over the years, but getting back to his best. Of course, there's no Nuno Mendes at left back. He picked up an injury in that World Cup. We wish him a speedy recovery. Kimpembe also injured just before the World Cup. Really unfortunate for him.
They haven't had too much luck with centre-backs. This has happened to them a few times over the last couple of seasons. That's why he had Danilo dropping back into a defensive position.
It's Al-Dossari. The Riyadh team looking to play a bit of keep ball, and they're doing that well. Some quality on the pitch for them as well. Ronaldo just came off his shin.
And he appreciates little applause there for that little interchange. And you can see some of the short passing in triangles from the Saudi Arabian hosts is very much mirroring what the Paris Saint-Germain players are putting together as well. No surprise to see that more and more with Messi. His history at Barcelona was all built on those short triangles of passes, and he's very much at his best when he's got players on him and he can just run through them and pass them.
Oh, Ronaldo with the blind pass. Luis Gustavo. Gustavo again. Riyadh playing some good stuff as well. It's Abdul Hamid. Al-Dossari. Abdul Hamid again, one of the Al Hilal players, is the big Paris-born striker. Marega. Comes back to Marega. Just throws himself at the ball. Brave stuff. But there's a foul in there somewhere.
It's an offside. Unfortunately, two of the players were virtually on the byline, so when they passed to each other, inevitably one of them was offside. That's Al Khalifi there, looking quite nervous, actually. It's a game that means something to them. Qatar against Saudi Arabia. Nice little local derby in terms of the management of these two great sides. Even though there's three great sides, you could argue.
Kylian Mbappe looking to stretch his legs, cuts inside. Neymar, good defensive header again. And Abdul Hamid. PSG coming again. Messi. Oh, that flick over. Nearly got to Mbappe. One of those little flicks that he's just mastered. Yeah. This time, slightly miscued.
Yeah, they have been linking up, though, so much better this season. One of the great things about Messi's first campaign at Paris Saint-Germain was he got a lot of criticism because he wasn't scoring goals, but he was setting up so many chances. And one of the reasons why Kylian Mbappe was top scorer last season, and indeed again at the moment for this season, is how many chances are being set up for him by the Argentine. Argentine is not quite as quick as he used to be and has taken up a slightly different role, setting up chances for the likes of Neymar and for especially for Mbappe. Neymar has also been setting up chances for Mbappe as well. And of course, Neymar started off by scoring 7 goals in his first 5 Ligue 1 games and set up 6. It was an amazing start to the campaign by both Mbappe and by Neymar.
Yeah, Neymar has 11 Ligue 1 goals, Mbappe 13. It's here maybe for Ronaldo. Well, ever competitive, Cristiano Ronaldo. He thought there was a foul in there.
And Al-Dossari, who set that ball on a plate for him, at least he thought he had, head in hands after the Portuguese were unable to get onto it.
Luis Gustavo. Anyone who thought Abdul Rahman Al Jassim would have an easy game as a referee, think again. He had some decisions to make in the first half. The first half, Neymar.
He's also had to keep up with play as well.
Exactly. But he's only 35, so he's one of the younger referees out there. Mbappe. Had a little bit of time off after the World Cup, but he did play a couple of games and then he had a little break. He actually turned up for training on the Wednesday after the World Cup final, which takes some doing. Some of the PSG staff didn't actually expect him to turn up, but the ultimate professional. Bernat. Mbappe. Oh, lovely back flick. One Bernat. Will this be 2? No. Sanchez. Hakimi. Hakimi gets it back from Messi. They're just lining up, prepared to throw men forward.
Well, there was a little tap there through by the referee that really perhaps set up that ball. Usually think it should have really been blown back for a drop ball, but it allowed this chance to be set up. Bernat again is getting quite a lot of joy down that left side. Really good defensive interception. Saw it bypass 3 Paris Saint-Germain players coming into the box looking to get onto it.
24 minutes gone. It's 1-0 to PSG. Lionel Messi with a delicate but very clever goal early on, 3rd minute. The difference so far, but be brave to bet against any more goals here. Two teams really going for it. There's Abdul Hamid, who's been busy down this left-hand side, the Al Hilal left back.
Yeah, there's no reverse gear on him. He really does like to get forward. He was the man, though, that pulled down Paredes for the penalty that saw Lionel Messi give Argentina the lead.
Well, Mbappe's through. Is there an offside? It doesn't look like it. Kylian Mbappe for 2. The lead is doubled. Let's see if the flag goes up, and it does. There is VAR in attendance today. Let's have a look at that one. This is not quite the angle to have a look at it. It was a lovely piece of work from Messi.
Well, it was the fullback came forward and sold himself short, but Messi couldn't get the ball away before Mbappe had started off. And, of course, he's got such lightning speed that unless you get the pass absolutely on the money, he's going to be past the defender before you know it. And, unfortunately, that was the case there for him.
Cristiano Ronaldo was signed with Al Nassr.
Might have gone to Al Hilal, but they have a transfer ban at the moment.
Yep.
So Al Nassr swept in and took the glory.
Abdul Hamid wants it back, gets it back. There's Al-Kabari. Al-Bulai. Luis Gustavo with the long ball to Ronaldo. I think we're seeing a lot of that in the Saudi League over the next few months. Oh, brilliant flick back from Ronaldo. Hakimi clears up. That was a brilliant vision from Ronaldo. That's the kind of stuff that I think we can still see from him. I've lost a little bit of pace, but still that vision and wonderful touch. Neymar at the other end. A nice open match, this one. Neymar. Mbappe. Neymar's come close a couple of times in this opening 26 minutes. Ruiz. Messi, when you go for the shot. Messi tries his luck, just over.
Well, I'm not quite sure what Luis Gustavo was thinking there, allowing Messi to come back onto his left foot and shoot unopposed. But that all started off.
Marega scampering after that. He's an all-action centre forward, is Marega, born just outside of Paris. Mali international. Go back to Navas in goal. Quite a few familiar names playing in Riyadh. Alvaro Gonzalez, the former Marseille man, not playing here, nor is David Ospina, former Nice and Arsenal goalkeeper. Unfortunately, he's injured. Gilles Conan, Ivory Coast international. So it's a pretty metropolitan league these days, you know, the Saudi league.
Yeah, Odion Igalo is also injured as well. He's one of the top scorers in the Saudi Arabian professional league.
Al Nassr do currently lead the league. They're 30 points from 13 games, ahead of Al Hilal, who have 29 points. Luis Gustavo clears up, just a 1 point gap, and Al Ittihad, who are another giant of Saudi Arabian football, on 28 points as Martinez is fouled.
Yeah, they were in action earlier today, actually. There were a couple of Saudi Arabian professional league games played before the kickoff of this exhibition game, this gala performance.
46th year of the league, 12 clubs. It's going to be increased to 18. Coaches, interestingly, from 12 different nations, so it is a very international league, certainly when it comes to coaching. Players as well, there is a limit now of 8 foreigners. Up from 7. Here's one. Marega. Did well to turn and beat Ramos. Well, that was just half the job. Lionel Messi, the difference so far. Neymar just skips past his man and gets past Gustavo, his countryman. But can't get past Al-Bulai. He's a man-mountain of a defender. Al Hilal are the defending champions of the Saudi League. Al Nassr looking to get their 10th title. Has been Al Hilal who've dominated the last few years. Actually, the 3-time defending champions are Al Hilal.
Yeah, they went to the Club World Cup, which is just about to start again in 2019, and unfortunately Al Balai scored an own goal in the semi-final against Flamenco. Yeah, that was won by Liverpool, actually, against the South Americans in the final.
Yeah, the Club World Cup will start in a couple of weeks with Al Hilal there. It will take place in Morocco. Ramos to Bernat for PSG, who scored early on, nearly scored a second or third so far. The Riyadh season team just about holding them out. Messi, Neymar, brilliant footwork. Bernat, Mbappe. Korean defender just ushering the ball out.
Yeah, good work by Jang Hyung-soo, 31-year-old centre-back who can obviously play out on the wide of the defence and also in defensive midfielder, the former FC Tokyo man.
It just shows how international this league is, with Asian players here, a lot of South Americans and Africans. Marega, one of them, just tries to keep on his feet. The Paris-born Mali international.
Sergio Ramos just biting his ankles as he went past.
Yeah, that's a real clash, though, isn't it? Two strong guys, centre forward and centre back. Played in a good spirit, but certainly very, very competitive. And Riyadh.
Yeah, it's a nice surprise, isn't it?
Yeah, Martinez will take this one. Gonzalo Pity Martinez, the two-time Copa Libertadores winners. Ronaldo looking for the header, gets close to it, gets a clattering from Navas. Well, Navas
maybe
and
got a
Ronaldo.
clattering. Yeah, I think Navas is going to be fine.
Navas will be okay, but I think the fans wondering, what is that? For a second, I was wondering if Mr. Al Jassim was pointing to the penalty spot. We have seen that a couple of times, and judging by the body language of some of the PSG players,
well, he threw
the
himself
Qatari
in.
ref has given a pen.
It's definitely onside, and well, not quite sure how I could see this as a penalty, to be quite honest with you. Ronaldo throws himself at it, and they just hit each other. I'm not sure how that's a foul one way or the other.
Well, two players with their eyes very much on the ball. I agree with you there. And anyone who thought this would just be a friendly kickabout, think again. PSG not happy that there's a suggestion of a penalty. This is a good look at it. Ronaldo definitely looking at the ball, and I think Navas did too much wrong there, did he, Angus?
Well, the thing is, they both missed the ball. So if Ronaldo had got something on the header, then I would see the point. But you could argue, I mean, it's actually, in some sense, it's quite refreshing that the decision has gone the way of the outfield player. Those sorts of decisions usually go the way of the goalkeeper.
Yeah, some say keepers overprotected in the modern age. There's no doubt, if it's a foul, it's a penalty. They're the rules of football. The question is it a foul?
And all those matches for Real Madrid have been forgotten between each other. Those Champions League wins, Liga titles. And in the end, I think maybe the respect between the two players, they came through in the end, because clearly Navas does not think that was a penalty.
Well, he's got a yellow card into the bargain. Poor old Keylor Navas doesn't play too much football. Maybe that's another element as well, in as much as he hasn't had too much goalkeeping practice of late. The result is a penalty. Cristiano Ronaldo, he's got a huge bruise appearing underneath his left eye by the looks of it. Yeah, you can see that there.
Yeah, sort of boxer's wound.
Yeah.
Well, there's no doubt he didn't put it on. I mean, that was not a dive or anything like that. They definitely hit each other, but that's the point.
Poor old Cristiano Ronaldo, clearly in a bit of pain, but he's a determined player and he wants to score his first goal in Saudi Arabia. It's Ronaldo against Navas. Navas got a touch, but Ronaldo scores the goal. Just got a big whack under the eye, and you can see what it means to the local fans and dignitaries as well. It's Riyadh 1, PSG 1.
Well, he'd only scored one goal for Manchester United this season in the Premier League at Goodison Park back in October.
It was a decent effort from Navas, just hit with too much power, Angus.
Well, it was a classic penalty. He and Messi both very confident from spot kicks. Even if Navas had got a better dive, too high for him.
The first Ronaldo celebration in Saudi Arabia for the Riyadh season team. So we have a match on our hands. It's 1 apiece. And PSG were not happy with that award being given. That shows this is a competitive fixture. Look forward to the next hour of this match. There will be a penalty shootout if it stays like this, and a trophy to be awarded, the Riyadh season trophy, as the crowd are on their feet screaming Ronaldo, many screaming PSG as well. A good match on our hands here, 1 apiece at the King Fahd Stadium. We haven't seen too much of the coaches so far. Marcelo Gallardo is coaching this home team, the Riyadh team, up against Christophe Galtier, of course.
48 goals he scored in his best ever league season for Real Madrid back in the 2014-15 season. Messi, though, a couple of seasons before that, had reached 50 goals in the Liga when both of them were at the height of their powers.
701 club goals before today as Neymar whacked to the turf by Ronaldo. What was it, Gustavo? I think they both went for him there, both making sure Neymar wasn't going to make any more progress. Messi. Hakimi. I wonder how PSG will react to that. Hiding tackle. Al-Boulay. Back to Alois, who clears.
Saoued Abdelhamid with a great tackle, because there is no doubting the power and the threat that Achraf Hakimi brings down that right-hand side.
Navas showing he's a pretty good footballer as well as a goalkeeper. Marquinhos.
Both the big guns have scored.
Yep. And Ronaldo will certainly have a black eye tomorrow. He's got the big red bruise under that left eye of his.
Oh.
Mbappe, brilliantly done. Skips past 2 players. Mbappe cleared by El Boulaye. Is that going to be a corner?
Who would be a right-back in modern-day football against Paris Saint-Germain or the French national team? He's scary. Full tilt. Perfect control of the ball. Absolutely no chance there for Sultan Al Ghanam, the Saudi Arabian international right-back.
Yeah, it was a fascinating battle when he came up against Hakimi, wasn't it, when France played Morocco. 2 very good friends. They're genuinely good friends off the pitch, and coming literally face-to-face in that World Cup game in Qatar. It was a great prospect, and France coming out winners that time. Ruiz. New signing, as is Renato Sanchez. It's a new midfield for PSG. Soler in there as well. 3 new buys. We'll see some changes in the second half. Messi, 3 ahead of him. Renato Sanchez. Give and go off Neymar. Worked pretty well. That's a super pass. Through to Soler. Into the danger area. Hacked out by Al-Almri.
There's a good ball in again from the left-hand side. They're going to have to be very, very, very careful, because when you've got Hakimi down one side and one Bernat, who's not quite as attacking as Nuno Mendes, but nevertheless still presents a threat, they are able to create such width.
The chat between Gustavo and Ramos. Don't know what that's about.
2 masters of the dark arts in football.
Abdulrahman Al Jassim just saying the players to concentrate on the football, a little bit less pushing and shoving. Messi's corner. One Riyadh team win the ball up. Whoa, down. Al Dossari. What's going to be the decision from Abdulrahman Al Jassim, I wonder? It's a red. Would you believe it? It's a red card in this exhibition game. Al Dossari was through, and minutes after what you could say was a controversial penalty,
Juan Bernat has got his marching orders, and PSG are down to 10.
Astonishing. He's only ever had one red card in his professional career in his first season with Paris Saint-Germain. Now let's see. Well, Achraf Hakimi was climbing all over the back of his man as well, as you'll see. Look at this.